Yeah, so welcome back, everybody. Dribble and drive. Got an interesting one. The Cleveland Cavaliers. There's no Cavalanche happening right now. It's the third quarter. They're down 34, and they were down at 41 at half. Um, what a collapse.
This was shocking.
What do you think about this? Like this insane collapse. I don't think anybody saw coming. The only thing I'll say is that, like, yeah, they don't have the experience, so they're always prone to it, but it's crazy. I mean,
Yeah, no, we thought they were gonna steamroll this playoffs like they did the regular season, and even when they went down 20 points, you didn't get nervous, but like today you just saw the lead kept on getting bigger and bigger. Um
41 at half.
I mean this game was over. Normally like teams down 20 points, you think like, all right, quick 10-0 run, they're right back in this thing. Like this thing was over at halftime. You don't see many games like that.
No. Yeah, normally it's like, okay, well you can hit a few threes and then that's a 10-0 run. Now you're down 10 only not 20. But no, it's 41 at half. Um they started off slow. Mitchell started off slow. First quarter, they were 4 for 15 from the field, seven turnovers. Mitchell 1 for 5. It was all Strus. He was 2 for 3. And meanwhile, the Pacers, they were 14 for 26 from the field, 6 for 10 from three. And there was that incident. Mathurin, he punched Hunter in the stomach. Hunter shoved him back. He went
Yeah, do you think
flying.
that was dirty?
I think it was, and listen, I'm an Indiana guy. I'm a Mathurin guy. Yeah, I mean, he sucker punched him in the stomach. Yeah, I thought it was dirty. And then Mathurin let Hunter shove him, and shove Hunter was just getting his get back, which is, retaliation. Shouldn't have done it, but hey,
I kind of lost a lot of respect for Mathurin there. He even after he did it too, he couldn't look Hunter in the eye. Like he like was like he did couldn't look him in the eye. He was avoiding him, and then he puts his hands up and like starts like flexing. Like, what are you doing, dude? Like you just like sucker punched him, and then he absolutely deserved that. Like 100%. I was like, let's go. And I thought for sure Hunter was gonna get tossed, and I'm so glad he didn't.
same,
And like
same,
Matherin,
absolutely.
I don't. But because of Hunter's reaction, I don't know if Matherin's ejection was like justified. You know what I mean?
I get that too. I get that. I hate
Like,
guys getting ejected though.
yeah,
But I mean, he sucker punched him in the stomach. Like he can't do that,
yeah. I'm so glad they got that because like normally they always get the second guy retaliating, even in hockey,
right?
any sport, football, like where like at least they got the guy who actually did something dirty. You know what I mean? First.
I completely agree. Like as hockey players, we grew up, we get cheap shotted, we give a little stick tap, and then we're in the box, and our coaches are mad at us. So we know how that
Yeah.
works. So we love to see the guy who actually, caused the confrontation, made the dirty play, get thrown out.
Yeah.
Again, I'm a Matherin guy, I'm an indie guy, but that's the right call by the refs. But it goes back to last game. Matherin and Hunter, they got into something. There was a little bit of shoving, a little bit of talking. Um, so yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like you got to let your emotions go. You can't let that happen. And it got worse actually for the Cavs. Garland last game, he picked up his third foul in the second quarter, I believe. He did the same thing here. He was getting a little physical with Obi Toppin guarding him. Obi Toppin, I mean, the refs let it go for a little bit, and then he just kept grabbing and grabbing his arm. And at some point, you're going to get called for that. And this is an ongoing issue with Garland. You can't be doing this. You can't be picking up three fouls in the second quarter, especially when your season's on the line. Now you're about to go down 3-1. You were already down to begin with. It was only 20-25 at that point, and you're picking up your third foul as a very key player. You can't be doing that. Garland's got to fix that.
Yeah. Cleveland's just like turning the ball over a lot. They aren't taking care of the ball. I mean, like if you look at the shots, like it's not like even Indiana in this game they're blowing them out right now. It's not like they're destroying them from the 3-point line. They only made like five more threes. So I mean, it comes down like I saw at halftime points in the paint. Like Cleveland had 6 points in the paint at half.
Indiana
Like
had 30.
yeah, like you. So clearly Miles Turner, Pascal Siakam are creating like a wall. They're not letting those guys in the paint. Obi Toppin, their big length, and
Super, super disappointed in Cleveland's front court. I mean, last game, the story of the game was the offensive rebounding and the rebounding. Indiana can't keep up with Mobley and Allen in Cleveland. But I mean, this game, Mobley at half had 3 points on three shots. That's unacceptable.
Yeah.
That cannot happen. That cannot happen. Let me see. Allen, there was lazy defense. So 2:45 left in the second quarter. Strus passed it to Allen. It got away from him. That's a turnover. Dumb turnover, waste of a possession. Then Neesmith comes, hits an off the dribble, contested mid range. Like you can't let that happen. Then Garland missed a three. Then Turner hit a three. And then
Yeah.
Strus picked up that frustration foul on Halliburton, and he got a T. So that was a technical. That was a foul for Indy. Free point for Halliburton, and then they get the ball too. Halliburton just pulls it from deep, open three. And at that point, Garland then bricked another three. Siakam grabbed the rebound. Turner hit another three. Um, and this kept on going. Like you thought it couldn't have gotten worse. But no. Mitchell bricked a deep three, and then Turner. They used the whole shot clock. Allen's all over the place defensively, and Turner hits his fourth three, 4 for 4 that half from three. Miles Turner, and then that was when Indiana went up 41. Then Garland got a layup, but as if it couldn't get any worse, Neesmith hit another contested off the dribble midi. At the buzzer. Indiana went up 41. So Allen, I mean, he's just all over the place, turning the ball over, getting lost on defense. Just that can't be happening. Your size is supposed to be your advantage. And like I said, Mobley, 1 for 3 in a first half when your season's
Yeah.
on the line.
That's your all-star right there. Even
And
Garland, he's having trouble getting a shot off. So,
it's on Mitchell, man. It's on Mitchell. And when Mitchell comes out and doesn't have a good first quarter, like I said, 1 for 5, you're cooked. And then in the second quarter, he comes out, misses a shot, and then um Cleveland turned the ball over 3 times. 3 times. And Siakam hit 3 jumpers, 2 threes, a midi, and then
yeah.
Obi Toppin hit a dunk to go up 25. Ridiculous.
Yeah, we got to talk about, I'd say like, one of the most under talked about players in the league has to be Siakam. Like, this guy was the number two option on a championship team that beat one of the best Warriors teams, even though they were injured. Still beat Steph Curry Warriors team. That team beat the Celtics. So I think that's still a pretty good feat. And like Siakam, man, like 9 for 10 right now in the third quarter of this game. Like this is he's putting on a show and he's actually schooling Mobley.
Right? And it's crazy. Like Mobley, you're the defensive player of the year, an all-star. Not only do you have 3 points at halftime, but you are getting absolutely cooked by Pascal Siakam. At half, it was 12 points, 5 for 6, 2 for 2 from three. I mean, that can't
This is a
happen
guy
if you're
you're bigger
Cleveland.
than.
Yeah,
Across the board, you're bigger and better.
right? It's disappointing. It's really disappointing. My only thing with this is that I didn't know. I mean, I picked Cleveland in the series. I picked it to go to 7 because I'm an indie guy. Cleveland, my only thing with them, I think they could beat Boston. This is the year Boston's vulnerable. However, they are just too inexperienced. They haven't done it before. So, but it's still a shock. It's still a shock when it happens in the moment.
Yeah, and like I don't they're not coming back from 3-1. It's just not going to happen. Like I see even though like the Pacers, they're an offensive team, I don't see three straight games where they shoot badly,
No. And
especially playing at home.
This is an Indiana team that gets hot. Like we've seen this game. They get hot, they start hitting their shots, they go up 41.
Yeah.
And Cleveland, I don't want to say they can never do it, but I mean, clearly this team just isn't mentally built for it. They haven't been battle tested. This is kind of their first run. Last year, Garland was injured. Mobley was so young. Um, we didn't know if they were going to blow it up, but no, they come back, they win 60 games. So I'm not surprised because they haven't been battle tested before. This is kind of their first time being battle tested. Do you think next year, because I don't think they make a move. Do you think Garland and Mobley, I think Mitchell's there, but do you think Garland and Mobley come back with a improved kind of mentality and maybe next year's their year?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like if you're the Cavs front office, you gotta explore either moving one of Allen or Garland, I think. Right?
Right?
Like I feel like Garland in the playoffs, smaller guy, weakness on defense. He has kind of trouble getting a shot off, even though when he's playing good, he plays good. But can he be can he be that guy on a playoff team? Like both sides of the ball. I don't know.
Yeah, and the injuries pop up every year. That only makes it even more difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
Um,
I
but
know
he does
he's young. He's got plenty of time,
that.
you know what I mean? So
That's the
that's the thing.
thing. That's the thing. He is so young. He does take so much pressure off Mitchell when he needs a little break. Like you could see in game three, after Garland being out for the first two games of the series, Mitchell was dead, man. He was doing everything. And game three, Garland just coming in, setting up the offense, dribbling the ball, handling it. It made things easier for Mitchell.
Yeah.
And he runs so I mean, he averages 20 and 7. He's good. But yeah, the defense, the injuries, the mental toughness. But he is young. So we'll see.
Yeah. So definitely did not have this. So we can go ahead and probably put the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, I mean, teams have come back from 3-1, but it's not
Were
likely.
they in the Eastern Conference Finals last year?
Yeah,
Wow, man. 2 years in a
really.
row.
Rick Carlisle, man, we got to start talking about him as one of the premier head coaches in the league.
Seriously. Like I don't know if like Indiana has a move to be made because they kind of have a lot of cap locked up, but I don't know who like if anyone too, they'd probably trade Turner, right? And he's been on the trade block for who knows how long. So
Yeah,
I don't
it's
think he
so tough because you have so many good role players.
yeah.
It'd be tough to give up two of them for Kevin Durant.
Now like so looking at the Pacers, like do you still realistically give them a shot to go to the finals, or do you think the Celtics or Knicks, regardless, will beat them?
I mean, that's where it gets really tough. That's where I don't know if I have an answer because I don't see them beating Boston.
Yeah.
I feel like
Like
they're just a worse version of Boston.
and like that series versus Boston last year, I mean, every single game was like a close game at the end. Like how many game winning shots or possessions, games that came down to the last possessions. Like I think like you think the Pacers maybe learn something and bring it to
I
who
don't
knows?
know. I don't think so because Boston, even when their offense isn't on, they're an elite defense. Indiana, they're better defensively than they've ever been before this year. But with that, they're not as good as Boston defensively. They don't have that to fall back on. Plus the fact that Halliburton's a great player. I'm his biggest fan, but he's not a number one scorer on a championship team. And I don't think any of these guys are. They're great. They're a great collection of great role players, and if Siakam and Halliburton, I think, are stars. But the lack of a go in Turner, but the lack of a go-to scorer, I think they don't have.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't think they can get to the finals. N Not that they can't, because I mean, how are you going to count them out? Especially with Boston's, little two-game skid that they just had. I don't know. I think even if they go against New York, New York has Brunson late in games to fall
I
back
mean, they beat
on.
the Knicks last year, even though that was a completely different team.
Yeah,
But
and
they
then
still match up well. Like
they
I feel like
do
Turner matches well on Cat, and then the only problem is like their OG. Like I feel like OG and McCall could take over in that series.
defensively.
Yeah,
And then you got Brunson to fall back on offensively. You got Cat who's going to rain from 40 feet. I'd take the Knicks in that series. And I mean, I'm a huge Halliburton guy. I'm a huge indie guy. I just I think the Knicks have the talent to go to the finals.
yeah.
I don't even think they're going to beat the Celtics. I think they really dropped that game three. They really dropped the ball. They missed their opportunity. Obviously, they could. If they win this series, I'm picking them to go to the finals. Even against Cleveland, I think the Knicks could have gotten out. They just have so much talent.
So Knicks won the season series 2-1. All games were played like early in the season, so like teams were probably trying. I haven't
Like,
looked into the box scores, but
yeah, like I said, like late in a fourth quarter, who are you going to go to on Indiana? Obviously Halliburton, but ideally he's a playmaker, not a go-to scorer late in games. He's a two in that aspect.
yeah,
With the Knicks, you have Brunson, you have Cat as a three-point shooter. Um, so that's where I stand. That's where I stand.
yeah. Yeah, the Pacers, like if they just got to keep playing their game.
Yes.
Like if they just like play well on the offensive side of the ball, shoot shoot probably what like 35% on their threes, they should be in the game. You know what I mean? So I think like that's kind of their formula for success.
Yeah, definitely. Because they don't have another style to play to. They have to play like this. They have to win transition offense.
Yeah, like they're gonna have to have, a Matherin game. They're gonna have to have an MR game. They're gonna have to have game where Neesmith maybe comes in, knocks down five or six threes. You know what I mean? Something like
Yup,
that. If they really want a chance to
yup.
win.
Games like this where Brunson maybe has a rough first quarter and Indiana gets out to a 20-0 lead or a 20-point lead and then, just keeps raining from three. That's what happened
Yeah,
tonight.
and like if you're in New York, just hold on to get that win.
Exactly. Exactly. That's the thing. And that's why I think it goes 6-7. But I just think late in games, I want Brunson. I want Brunson.
Yeah. Here, you want to slide over that Celtics next
Definitely.
series?
Definitely. Yeah, that was interesting.
So it's kind of what we thought was going to happen with game three. Like we thought the Celtics were going to come in, get the win. But I mean, this game four is just as important. They can't go down 3-1. We know what that means. Um, so this is must win territory right here.
oh, absolutely. Um, what did you think about the game? What was your what did you think?
I think that's how the first two games should have played out. Like that's honestly how they should have, except and we played the same exact way, played the same style. We just made the shots.
One
And
thing that I want to point out is that Cat was dropping on Tatum and Brown threes when in games one and two they were switching a lot. They would have Cat jump right up onto that and they'd be ready to defend from there. Why did they come out and drop? Did they really think they were just gonna keep missing threes like that?
I think they did. And that was like one of the nights, even like when you felt like they were contesting shots, they still made them. So yeah, I wouldn't like put too much stock into this game, you know what I mean? Good bounce back game from Tatum. Um, but I think like this game four is really this is where the Knicks this is their last stand right here. Like if they go back to Boston 2-2, they know they're cooked.
Yeah. And you haven't gotten a good Knicks game yet. I mean, they didn't even score 100 points. Have they scored 100 points in any of these games?
Let me check here.
No, not game two. Game
Game
one.
one in
No.
OT. Game one it took OT.
Yeah, but they still. Oh, yeah, you're right. Game two, 91. I don't know. I can't get back to game one, but really, really weird how we haven't gotten like a dominant Brunson game, a dominant Cat game. Cat hasn't even been hitting threes. Um, OG had that game one since then. I mean, yesterday he was 1 for 6, 0 for 2 from three. Josh
Yeah.
Hart was 0 for 3 from three. Bridges was 0 for 2 from three. He had those two mid-range shots he was about to take. He bailed out of them, turned the ball over last second. Um, Mitchell Robinson, he does what he does. He slams the boards, gets some offensive rebounds, creates second chance points. Even when it says he had 6 offensive rebounds, he probably had 8, 9, 10, the way he just swats him to another teammate, gets loose ball fouled. That's Mitchell Robinson's impact. He had 0 blocks that game, but just the impact he has in the paint. But you send him to the free throw line, he shoots 4 of 12.
His free throws so bad.
It's bad. It's
Actually,
bad. And he wears his emotions on his sleeve. He ducks
like,
down, covers his head. He's like,
yeah. But I feel like that's kind of been already figured out in the series in the sense that like Tibbs is not gonna have him in the game when the Celtics are in the bonus. You know what I mean? Like the
right.
second the Knicks get five fouls, that Robinson's coming out because they can't afford on offense to let possessions up like they did in that first game. But like the Celtics like fouling him to get into the bonus and then they take him out now. I think Missoula's got to be careful of that, just getting them in the bonus too quickly. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. What do you think is the key to this series for the Knicks? Like, how do they pull this out? What do they have to do?
I think they gotta really challenge Jaylen Brown to beat them. I think, but they just gotta keep on the pressure, I think, with the forced turnovers. Like come out, defend these guys 4 or 5 feet beyond the arc. Like you said, not drop. Like I know they kind of get beat on the rolls sometimes, but I feel like that's why you got those athletic guys. They can recover. You know what I mean? Like give them a chance to make a play on it. Where like I don't know, last game like the Celtics, they just made ridiculous shots. I don't know.
That's the thing. Live by the three, die by the three.
Yeah, they got up early. They stayed up. So
Yeah.
um, I'm
For
trying to
me,
think.
For me, I think it's a lot of they need some creation outside of Brunson because the Celtics are making it so hard on Brunson between Holiday, White, Tatum, Brown, whoever you want to put on him. Um, and OG didn't give it to you in game three, but when he did in game one, it was really helpful. Bridges didn't give it to you in game three, but when he did in game two, when he went on that little, I think it was a 12-0 personal run to get them back in the game in the second half, that's
Yeah,
the key for the Knicks is get Brunson some help on offense. Game three, Cat shot 5 for 18. That's not helping him. 1 for 5 from three. Um, OG again, 1 for 6. Bridges, I talked about that. They need some more offensive shot creation and for themselves and for others outside of Brunson. It's all Brunson. And
yeah,
they're trying to copy the Celtics model of a bunch of guys who can shoot, defend, and dribble. And they have a bunch of guys who can defend. They have a bunch of guys who can shoot on the right night. And they have a bunch of guys who can sometimes dribble, but not all the time. And that's what's holding them back, I think. And then also the drop coverage thing. Why are you dropping? Why are you dropping when it worked so well to switch and just get right up on them with Cat in games one and two? Why would you change that if you're Tibbs?
yeah. Here I'm pulling up. I think like the Knicks need a little bit more from Mikal Bridges, even though like
Bridges or OG, in my opinion. I think it's like one of those guys.
yeah. I mean OG, he's been playing pretty good. He looks that dunk he had the other night was sick.
It was, but like, why can't he do it in game three? Why does he do it in one game and then the next game he's 1 for 6? That's the
Yeah,
thing with OG and Obi.
yeah. I don't know. The Knicks fans all cocky. Think like the Celtics. I don't know why it takes them dropping 2 games, getting down series, to finally get motivated. But I think like you'll see the Celtics put the pedal to the metal here. But
Definitely,
this game 4, the Knicks must win.
right? They got to. I mean, I think it's a must win for both. It's a must win for both, but
Yeah,
maybe even more so than Knicks, which is absolutely crazy.
yeah,
But I mean, you can't go down 3-1. Another thing I want to talk about is the Tatum shooting stuff is a thing. The Celtics shooting stuff is a thing, but it's not only him. Brunson's had his fair share of inefficient games. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, who we thought is the best scorer in the league, who probably is, but still, eight
and
Ant has his shooting games.
yeah,
Um, and obviously he impacts the game in other ways like everybody else does, and Ant gets a lot of credit for that. But again, like Shea, like 10 for 26 against the Grizzlies in game three, 4 for 13 in game one, 10 for 29 in game two. This series, 7 for 22 in game three, 8 for 19 in game four. And he's shooting a lot of threes. Like whenever he
yeah.
gets a look at a three, which I get, it's basketball today, but he's just taking it. And I don't like this. I don't like this.
No, it's not really his game. Like you said last game, J-Dub, he was the star of the show. I mean,
But then 2 for 13 today. Like
yeah,
what is going on? Because it's everyone. It's everyone. Jokic. I mean, we saw Luca and LeBron. Are playoff nerves really this real? Obviously they're real. But are they
yeah,
really affecting guys this much shooting the basketball, especially this year?
I guess. Yeah, I guess.
Like what else is it? It's because when I watch it, they're just missing shots. It's not defense, it's not anything else. They're just missing shots. It looks
Yeah,
like there's a lid on the rim.
like a guy's either like 2 for 10 or he's like 7 for 10. And you're like, what? Like, can we get some sort of consistency?
Right? It's almost
So,
like the only guy who hasn't been affected by this is Donovan Mitchell.
yeah.
Tonight it's hit him, but I mean, look what he's done throughout the playoffs.
Let's see what this indie game's at.
Let's
Yeah,
see.
it's almost over.
Yeah, that game's cooked. I mean, let me see. So at half, let's see what the numbers at half were. Actually, no, we talked about that
Here,
game. We don't
you
need
want to
to.
go to the West?
Yeah, let's go there.
All right. We'll go Thunder Nuggets.
Yeah,
All right, so Nuggets, they pulled out a close game in Denver today. They were down in the fourth, but they actually pulled through, got the dub. Um, let's see. Let's see who
real quick, I just want to talk about game three really quick.
yeah, yeah.
And I get it. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander's the MVP. You want the ball in his hands late in a close game. But Jalen Williams was 11 for 19. Was Shea was 7 for 22. Jalen Williams had it cooking. Shea did not have it cooking. You got to give the ball to Jalen Williams. You got to feed the hot hand.
Yeah, and every one of like J-Dub's buckets came after like Shea would try to attack, he'd get walled off, and then he'd just throw it to J-Dub with like 6 seconds left on the shot clock, and he would just somehow like find a way.
Right? Right?
Yeah,
It's like the writing was on the wall. The blueprint was right there for Mark Daignault and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. And they didn't defer from Shea to J-Dub. And he said in his press conference, SGA did, he was like, I know J-Dub had it rolling, but I make those shots. Man, clearly you don't. We just watched it. Playoff basketball is different. Clearly you didn't
yeah,
have it. So defer. Give up the ball. I know you're cocky. I know you're good, but come on, man. I mean, in the fourth quarter, J-Dub got to the line 4 times. He was 4 for 4. Shea 0 times at the free throw line. In that fourth quarter, Shea was 1 for 8. J-Dub was 5 for 8. Shea was 1 for 4 from three. J-Dub was 2 for 2 from three.
yeah. I think this is going seven, this series.
Yeah. Did I pick OKC in 6 or 7? Do you remember?
I think seven.
Okay. Yeah, because I was like, Jokic, man, he's gonna give Jokic an experience versus inexperience. It's got to go 6 or 7.
Yeah. So
Pure
I don't,
basketball, if you watched NBA basketball this year, you would say Thunder in 5. But intangibles like this come into play in the playoffs,
especially when guys are playing like 40 minutes a night, where depth is key, but it
right?
also like isn't as important. Like if your starters give you what you need, you should be good.
Yeah, but like you said, you need depth because guys are so banged up.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of how it is. But yeah, that's what I thought about game three. I thought they should have deferred from Shea to J-Dub more. I get it. I get it, but I don't agree with it.
Yeah. And then they come back. What was it? So they lose that one by like 10. Their their offense was just the problem. And then they get the dub tonight.
Yeah, I
So
mean, it was the lowest combined first quarter in lowest combined score in the first quarter in playoff history. In that first quarter, OKC shot 1 for 11 from three. Denver shot 0 for 14 from three. They
Denver
both,
had 8 points after the first quarter.
yeah, no, it
I was
was
like, what?
terrible. They didn't score all in the final 5 minutes of that first quarter. Yeah, they finished that quarter with 8 points. Um, and Christian Brown was huge for Denver because coming out of that little slump early in that second quarter when they couldn't buy a bucket, he was the only one making stuff happen. He was getting to the free throw line. He was 6 for 6 from that free throw line in that second quarter. Had 2 steals and a block just in the second. He was huge.
Yeah.
Obviously, they didn't win it, but he was huge to keeping them in it.
Yeah. Like they've got it within like 6 at half or like so. I don't
Yeah,
know. The I'm I'm a little bit like nervous in the fact Denver like they got like a pretty solid Jokic game and like still wasn't enough. Like they need some more like Michael Porter Jr. They win that last game because of him because he knocks down shots. Tonight he goes 1 for 7, 3 points, and you know what I mean? So like they just need like I feel like it comes down to those guys. Michael Porter, Aaron Gordon making shots, Christian Brown, like you said.
right. Exactly. I mean, they were selling out to stop Jokic. They put Hartenstein on. It's the best defense in the NBA, and you have Hartenstein on him or Chet. The other one's lurking around. because they're willing to give up shots. And then you have the best group of perimeter defenders in the league: Shea, J-Dub, Caruso, Dort, Wallace. There's probably a few guys I didn't even name. Coming, giving up 3-point shots, just getting handsy, getting physical with Jokic. They're willing to die on these 3-point shots going in. They don't want to get beaten by Jokic. And he was 7 for 22 tonight. He did not, I mean, yeah, he impacted the game, but 7 for 22, only 3 assists. These guys are really hurting him. Porter, 1
Yeah.
for 7, 0 for 5 from three. Russ, 2 for 12, 2 for 9 from three. Christian Brown, 2 for 9 from three. That's not good
Yeah.
enough.
He needs those like Russ 2 for 9, like you said, Christian Brown 2 for 9. Like he needs some 0 for 5 from Porter. Like, come on, like help him out just a little bit.
Right?
2 or 3 shots and they win that game. So
It's really bad. It's really bad. And like I said, OKC is selling out. They have they want Hartenstein on Jokic. They want Chet Lurkin off of one of these shooters that can't shoot. Then they have, Shea, Caruso, Dort. Are we kidding? Dort got depoy votes. Caruso's
yeah,
Caruso. Shea's, I mean, he led the league in like steals and everything.
yeah.
Jalen
So
Williams. He
I
was playing
mean, like
center half the year.
I'm gonna look. Hold up. Let's see.
They're unbelievable. But yeah, they're willing to die with these 3-point shots from the role players on Denver going in, and it worked today. I mean, credit to their defense, but I'd
Yeah,
be
I was just gonna say two like great defensive teams going at it. You know what I mean? Like that kind of renews your faith. Like early in the season, people be like, NBA's all offense. It's all offense. Like now, like that was one of the lowest scoring playoff games of all time. So like
right.
that's pretty good.
It's been something cool that's kind of developed throughout these playoffs. Guys aren't hitting shots. Normally they
Game
are.
slows down.
Normally there's 63s going up, 35% of them are going in. Now it's like, I mean, both teams shot 3 for 22 from three in the first half. They both shot 24% from three for the game. OKC 10 for 41, Denver 11 for 45.
Yeah. Here,
Really?
do you want to go to the Timberwolves Warriors before this thing ends?
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. That game, I mean, Jonathan Kuminga
So
with 30 off the bench.
yeah, Warriors were up late in that game, fourth quarter, and then the T-Wolves just pulled ahead. Randall. It was a Randall game.
Yeah. He was 1 for 6 from three, but he had a triple double, 12 assists,
Yeah. I mean, it felt like anything down low, they would just give it to him and he'd bully who was ever on him.
right? And it was needed because Ant was 3 for 12, 1 for 6 from three in that first half. Um, and Randall really stepped up in that second half. I mean, dominant
Yeah.
second half from Ant and Randall. And Jaden McDaniels was phenomenal. 3 for 4, 2 for 2 from three in that second half. So, I mean, but I think the story of the game was that Golden
Nas
State,
Nas Reed 3 for 3 off the
that is
bench.
huge. That dude, I
Yeah.
mean, that dude's going to get paid this offseason. I don't know who it's by, but he's going to get paid.
Yeah.
Such a valuable piece with his
Definitely by the
3-point shooting.
Wolves.
Yeah,
They're not
oh,
letting him go.
100%. Why would they? His 3-point shooting, his length, his rebounding, his size. It's so crucial. Um, let's see. I think the main story of that game was Golden State's ability to stay in the game with their defense, but they can't close because their offense and their shooting is just not good enough. I mean, they shot a good percentage from three. They shot over 40% from three, but they only put up 23. Minnesota put up 34.
Yeah, and they just have no depth. I mean, like you look at their bench, they got Green playing, but then they also have like Looney off the bench, Peyton and Kuminga. That's it. Like nobody else gets minutes. And then you're relying on like Buddy Hield and Pods, and they just don't have enough guys. Like I feel like they run out of gas at the end. They're gonna run out of gas at the end of the games.
Yeah,
Like these guys are.
exactly.
You look at their whole starting lineup. Like Minnesota, like there's 3 players who played 40 minutes. Like you look at the Warriors, there's three. So I mean, I don't know. I'm just thinking in terms of like their age. Like they definitely aren't as skilled as these Minnesota guys. Like maybe if they were playing like 5, 10 less minutes, they could hang in there. But I don't know.
Yeah. Nah, for me, it's just like they don't have enough offense without Curry. They don't have enough shooting without Curry. They can defend. They can stay in the
They don't have
games.
size.
No, they don't. They have to
That's why
throw.
Randall had a triple double.
Yeah. And to match up with their size, they have to play Jackson Davis or Looney out there, which makes their offense even worse, as if isn't already bad enough without Steph. I mean, AirPods went 1 for 10 last night.
Yeah. And
Dr
like you're just relying on Jimmy Butler, who like some nights
and
just might not be what
yeah,
you want.
and he was good last night. He had 33 and 7, but I mean, it just wasn't enough because late in games, you're missing Steph Curry,
Yeah, and I mean, dude, like that's about as good as a game from Buddy Hield. He shot 50% from three. You know what I mean? Like that's a good solid game from Buddy Hield.
right?
Draymond
Dude,
crashed out.
yeah, Kuminga gave you 30. What else can you ask for? If
Yeah.
there was going to be a game that Golden State got without Steph, it was probably going to be tonight.
Yeah,
T
30. Yeah, Buddy Hield knocking down half his shots. Yeah, I'd say if they don't win that game, they aren't winning a game the rest of the series.
All right, bet. So let me ask you. Let me ask you. Who is your
All
most
right.
disappointing playoff performer so far?
Right now, um, I gotta go with a Nick. I think it's gonna be OG Anunoby. He balled out in game one, but in this second round, like game two, he had 5 points. Game three, he had 2 points. He shot a combined 3 for 15 in the last two games here. Uh, four turnovers altogether. Um, so I mean, and even in this last game, nothing on defense. Like normally, he gives you a great defense. So I think OG for the amount of money they're paying him and what they expect, OG Macau was definitely in there though.
Yeah, I completely agree. Both between those two, you need more offensive firepower next to Brunson. You need even more consistent defense. So I completely agree. They gave up so much and paid so much money to get those two. So I think that's fair. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go with Jason Tatum as my most disappointing playoff performer. Not because he's been horrible, but just a narrative based kind of thing. Last year he got the championship, right? But he shot 6 for 16 and 6 for 23 in games one and two. He had kind of a very stacked team and an easy road. He didn't get the finals MVP. Jalen got it. Then going to Team USA, he gets benched. He gets benched. He doesn't play. That stirs up a lot in the media.
Yeah.
I think it was because he couldn't shoot jump shots. That's kind of the thing that happens in the playoffs. I think that's what happened. A lot to prove, a lot to play
He's
for this
a
playoff,
little bit of a ball stopper too.
right? Right? He holds on to that ball. He
Yeah.
dribbles and dribbles and shoots a lot of step back threes with hands in his face.
So
So you come out this season, all right, fine. You do pretty good against the Magic. You come into the Knicks series, you shoot 7 for 23 and 5 for 19 in games one and two, respectively. Have one of
yeah.
the worst fourth quarter, one of the worst 2 game fourth quarter performances in NBA history. You have one of the lowest field goal percentages in the league. It's extremely disappointing. It's extremely disappointing that he hasn't put his demons to rest. He hasn't become the player that I think he can be. The best player in the NBA with his two-way prowess as a
Yeah.
scorer.
Through these first three games of the second round, he's got 11 turnovers.
Come on.
Even if you got your hand ball in the hands all the time, like that's way too many. And then he's shooting like 32% from the field. It's just that isn't gonna get it done.
The
And
20 of 62.
this last game he played great. So if we can get some more of that, you
Yeah,
know, that
absolutely.
would be nice. But like you said, like why does he need motivation at this point?
No,
Like do
you got a legacy to prove this year, this playoff. You got to get
you
that Finals MVP.
Yeah, everyone's still saying like you're trash even though you won the chip. Like go show them again, you know what I mean? Not when you do stuff like this like confirms
You're just proving the
their
haters
hate.
right.
Yeah. And like I don't know why back's got to be up against the wall for you to turn it on every time, but I mean he does. He does turn it on when he needs to. So,
Sometimes.
yeah.
Sometimes. My thing is that like his potential is the best player in the NBA with his two-way ability, the shooting, the scoring, the rebound, the playmaking, the defense, perimeter and post. Like,
Yeah.
come on, man. Put it together. Put it together. And drafted as a pure scorer, just an absolute isolation bucket getter, and that's your issue now. You've put all the other pieces together, which is what most guys can't do as scorers, is become an elite playmaker, rebounder, defender, shooter, everything, the whole bag.
Yeah.
This guy, I mean, he's just it's disappointing. It's disappointing that he hasn't put it together. Because I think he can be the best player in the NBA.
Yeah.
And
100%.
and kind of building off of that, I mean, I think Jokic is the best player in the NBA right now. But as for the rest, I have Giannis at two. I have Giannis at two because the way Shea's come out in these playoffs, even after the regular season he's had, even after the player he is right now today, I'm still taking Giannis. Giannis doesn't have the team that Shea does. When Giannis did have a championship caliber team, he's winning Defensive Player of the Years, multiple MVPs, Finals MVP, 50 to close out a final. I mean, the guy's a monster. 30, 12, and 6 back to back to back seasons. It's not his fault the Bucks aren't very good right now. You need a team around you. At
Yeah.
three, at 3 and 4, I have a tie between Steph and Shea because we see Steph's impact. I get he doesn't have the statistical production, the consistency that he once did, but I think, one
Yeah.
game,
This team's different when he's on the floor.
right? And you can see it. This team can't do anything on offense. When they
Yeah.
had him and Butler after that Butler trade, they were the third best team in the NBA through the last quarter of the season. They were legit. And that's a huge reason I'm so disappointed in the Warriors. It's like it sucks because with Curry, this team could go to the finals in this open conference.
I would
But
I would push back. I would maybe have Ant above Curry. I would have Shea three, Ant, and then Curry. So
okay,
I agree Curry's right in there. So
I
for
just think
sure.
I just think Ant has some demons to put to rest between the bad shooting games. I mean, he came
Yeah.
out last night and put up a stinker in the first half. Obviously, he redeemed himself in that second, but it's just
But
especially with
he's a better two-way guy, I think.
for
So
sure,
that's
for
why I'll
sure.
give it to him.
And that's what prompts the debate. That's what makes it like, okay, I can see where you're coming from, but I'm still going Steph because of just his impact, his gravity. Um,
Yeah,
because
I
I
agree with
think
you.
with him, with this open conference and this Wolves team, they could go to the finals. Definitely if
Yeah.
they had him, but they don't. And look where they are now. They can't even win a game. So yeah,
Yeah.
I have Steph and Shea at 3 and 4. I have Tatum at 5 because I think he's proven a little bit more than Ant at 6. I have Luca at
Okay.
7 because of the defense, but Luca, Tatum, Ant could flip flop between 5, 6, and 7. Those guys
Yeah.
could even flip flop with Shea and Steph at 3 and 4. At 8,
Yeah.
I have Donovan Mitchell. 9, Jalen
Hold
Brunson.
up. I think we got to put LeBron above Luca.
I really,
Yeah.
I get it. I get it with Luca's defense. That's why he's at 7 for me. If it wasn't for that, the defense and the effort and the laziness and the ridiculousness that is, I would have
Yeah.
him at 3 or 2 if it wasn't for that. That's why he's at 7, but I can't put him any lower. I can't because of how good he is offensively.
Yeah.
But I get that. I'm putting Mitchell at 8, Brunson at 9, LeBron at 10.
Okay.
Because we saw LeBron in that first round playoff series and he kind of wet the bed too.
Yeah. Yeah. I would honestly have Mitchell above LeBron. Yeah. I agree with you.
I have Cade at 11. I have Wemby at 12, Kawhi at 13, Halliburton at 14, AD at 15. I have Booker, Mobley, and Durant at 16, 17, 18. And then it gets interesting with like Butler, Embiid, Trey Young, Paolo. And then we get into like the Jaws and the Jalen Browns and the Cats and the Jaren Jacksons, Sabonis. I mean, that brings you all the way to 27. I don't have a definitive list for like 15
Yeah.
to 27, but you know. And then a few guys I think could be higher. Kawhi, I had him at 13. He could be higher. AD at 15, Booker at 16, KD at 18, and Embiid at
Yeah.
20.
I'm
But
literally
just
reading a list right now, and it says whenever we update our top 100 list, we have a personal rule. If Kawhi Leonard looks like Kawhi Leonard for 2 weeks, he's a top 10 player. And that player is probably the best two-way forward in the NBA, which sums it up. I mean, we saw it in the playoffs. Like when he puts it together, man, that guy's unbelievable, but hasn't finished the season healthy in 5 years.
So fair.
It's-
He's a top 10 player. But that's why I have the asterisk next to Kawhi and AD because they're not on the floor,
yeah.
which is definitely going to bump them down.
Yeah. And yeah, I haven't really thought past top 10, but
Yeah. That's when you start talking about like the Cades, the Wembys, the
yeah,
Kawhis, the Halleys,
that's always a good summer deep dive.
right? Yeah, no. I can't wait. I
Yeah.
can't wait. I love
Yeah.
ranking. It gets the narratives flowing. It gets the
Yeah, because
debates,
like recency bias is so runs so high, like with Luca, like being Luca's number 5 on this list I'm looking at, and I bet beginning of next season Luca won't be top 8.
right?
Yeah.
But it's weird because he could also be two or three, but he could also be left out of the top eight. I mean,
Yeah.
the dude's ultra talented, ultra impactful offensively, but he hurts your team.
And
He
this
hurts
we
your team.
saw it. Yeah, we saw why he got traded. So
Exactly.
not saying it's justified, but
Absolutely. Do we have anything else that we want to touch up on?
um I guess midway through the second round, who's your championship pick?
It's so interesting because right now, this is the most parity we've had in the NBA in so long. The Celtics look like they're not a championship caliber team, but so do the Knicks. The Cavs and the Pacers both. I mean, the Cavs are down 3-1 right now, but you don't think the Pacers are a championship caliber team. The
Yeah.
Warriors, they're missing Curry. They don't have size. The Wolves, they have abysmal shooting nights. The Thunder, they're so young and inexperienced, and it's coming alive with the shooting, but they're still winning games. The Nuggets think they don't have any depth. They don't have enough consistency outside of Jokic. They don't have any defense, but they're winning games with their experience. This is
Yeah.
like the most unpredictable NBA season from the second round I can remember. I cannot pick. I can't pick.
Yo, I'm picking right now if I might go throw some money on it actually, because I don't have money on this team, but Minnesota Timberwolves. I was on them last year. I thought they could do it last year. I think this the year they break through. I feel like this Denver OKC, they beat each other up. Minnesota beat Denver last year. So I think they can, even though they don't have Cat, it's a different story. But I think they figure out a way. Where like I'd be more nervous if they play the Thunder. So but I kind of want Minnesota, bro. Yeah, give it to me.
You know how much I love the Wolves, but
We wanted to love the thing was at the beginning of the season. Sorry to just cut you off there,
no, no,
but
no.
like the Pacers and the Timberwolves, we came into the season super high on them. We were like, these guys are probably conference finals contenders. And then we saw that in the first 2 months, they weren't really playing up to expectations, both teams. So we kind of wrote them off. We were like, oh, this is who we thought they were. That run was fraudulent. Where we're kind of seeing now, like, okay, maybe it just took time to get these guys together, and they were playing good ball over the second half of the season, but just people weren't noticing. You know what I mean? Casuals weren't noticing. So right now they're kind of putting people on notice where people have been watching the second half of the year know these two teams are very good teams, just as good as last year. They just kind of had a rough start.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the Pacers, I mean, they went from a bottom half of the league defense to a top half of the league defense. The Timberwolves, Randall got going and they were phenomenal with Randall in 2025 calendar year. Obviously the beginning of the year was something else, but once Randall came back and they really got cooking, they got cooking. And all right, hear me out. All right.
Yeah.
This isn't my championship pick because I don't think it's going to happen. But if Steph Curry came back, I don't know if there's a team better than the Warriors because late in games, it's like
All right. If he's
everybody.
not coming back, if he's not coming back, then
That's the thing. I just want to say, I mean, if he comes back, I don't think anybody can shoot late in games with the Warriors and Steph Curry. I've seen Steph Curry come out and pull games out of his back pocket. I see every
yeah.
other team in the NBA right now, except like the Pacers for the most part, just struggling to put the ball in the hole, struggling to put the ball in the basket, especially from 3-point range. and that's why it would be the Warriors. However, I don't think Curry's coming back. I think it's the Celtics. I think it's the Celtics
I like it.
because I don't think the Pacers are going to beat us. I think we're going to
Yeah,
come back against the Knicks. I think it's the Celtics, but I it's so my
I can't argue.
Timberwolves,
Yeah, I
yeah.
can't argue with that.
My Timberwolves thing is I'm so high on their potential, but then they come out and they shoot 8 for 48 from three.
Yeah, I know. But I just like the fact that like they can still do that and win games. Like, you know what I mean? Like they can do that, get a 30-point game from Kuminga and they still win. Like that's a team that just kind of finds a way. So I don't know. You
You're
can look
absolutely right.
it's a double-edged sword. You know, you can look at it both ways.
You definitely can. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Celtics just because. But are we sleeping on the Nuggets? Are we sleeping on the Nuggets? Because sometimes, I mean, Aaron Gordon's been very good, especially from three. Sometimes you're
He's
gonna
been
get a
really good.
Murray heater like you did in Game Three. Sometimes you're gonna get a Michael Porter Jr. heater like you did in Game Three. Christian Brown hasn't had a good past 2 games, but before that, this dude was having a hell of a playoff. Peyton
Yeah.
Watson sometimes has a good game. Westbrook sometimes has a good game. It's like, I don't know, man. I gotta go with the Celtics. I don't know. But what I will say is I love the parity in the NBA right now. It's so unpredictable. Years prior, we knew who was gonna win, the Warriors.
Yeah.
It's refreshing.
Warriors, Cavs. Like it's just like refreshing. Even though like
Feel
people say like, oh, the playoffs aren't the same as they used to be. I feel like those are people who just kind of like reminisce the old days. Like, hey, come on, like, gotta give these guys a chance. Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
I completely agree. That's just people looking back at nostalgia. Dude, like you're seriously telling me this isn't better than 2018, 2017,
Yeah,
2019 when the Raptors won, that was pretty cool. But I
that was.
mean, like for the most part, man, Miami made it interesting, but they never won a championship. Um, it's
Yeah,
refreshing. It feels kind of like the NFL. You don't know who's going to win,
yeah. And it's not the same team over and over. And even though it's a lot of the same rosters, just different results, and that's the game.
right? It's cool. The second apron stuff, that's interesting. I got to get more in the know of that stuff over the off season. Um,
Yeah, all that stuff was like so new that like you're just like, whoa, like this is a lot to take in.
right?
So
It's like, oh, the
yeah,
Wolves traded Pat for Randall and DiVincenzo because they had to financially.
yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, but yeah, I think that about does it. I don't got anything else to say if you don't.
No, I'm pretty much good.
Yeah, thank you everybody for listening. Peace.